Right, so welcome back to the official part one of our Tamiya Subaru Monte Carlo build for our car build techniques video. So we've had the introduction to the build, we've had the review of the kit, we've had a look for all the tools and the airbrushing and paint tools we're going to use. And today we're going to start off by having a look through the instructions and just familiarising ourselves with the kit. I'm also going to go through and mark all the body colour parts in this highlighter. So basically I'm going to look for anything that's going to be painted the exterior body colour and highlight it for reference. Now they may not all be painted now, but this is so we can figure out our build process. So we've got the chassis that's marked already. There's numerous parts of the roll cage that will need to be body colour as well. We'll then have the body shell itself. There'll be the spoiler, the air intake scoop on the bonnet, and there may be one or two other pieces as well. Now using the green highlighter or yellow, I go through and mark them all. Like I say, we might not be doing them all now, but as a reference later on we can go back through and double check that we've got all the parts that need painting together. We're going to focus on the body today, which will be the body shell itself, the spoiler and the scoop. The wing mirrors are carbon fibre, so they're not going to be painted blue. And obviously we'll deal with the chassis and the roll cage at a later date. So just going through, just mark everything that calls for body colour. Like I say, when you come through the kit later on, you can see what is body colour and how we're going to deal with it. So basically we'll have a couple of sit-ins of painting the body colour now and a bit further down the line. I've also got a pink one, and I'm going to mark anything that is carbon fibre. Now the kit calls out for semi-gloss black, but we've got the carbon template from Studio 27. Now there's lots of carbon on this, so I'm not going to mark it all just yet. I'm just going to mark the exterior trim. There's loads on the interior. We're not going to confuse things yet. So on the exterior, we've got loads of carbon on the spoiler. There's a carbon trim on the bottom of that front bumper just there. And then we've got the carbon mirrors as well. What we're trying to do basically is get everything ready so it can be decaled and clear coated, because that is the first step I want to get out of the way. So that's the reason for me doing it in this process. Now what we'll do later on with the pink marker is we'll go through all the interior parts and mark what is carbon on them to deal with those later down the line. Now we're going to cut off the parts we need right now, which is the rear spoiler, the bonnet scoop and the body shell, which is already free from any sprues. And then we're going to clean them up and get them ready and prepped for primer. So a good pair of side cutters. I used the Tamiya ones. We went through these in the tools. We're cutting close to the body part but not right on it. We will sand the rest of the sprue gate off later. And again, just having a quick reference through the instructions, looking for any highlighted parts, we can figure out what we need. Now these are new to Pro Scale. These are 3M sanding pads, and these are ideal for prepping the body. So you get 5 in a pack. We're going to use the Superfine and the Microfine, I think it is. Is it Superfine? It's Superfine and Ultrafine. Microfine and Ultrafine, that's the one. So we're going to use the green Microfine to get rid of the seam lines on the body, and then the Superfine to key the body for primer. So what I've done there, you can see I cut off a couple of small rectangles of the sanders, and you see we're going to have a seam line that runs all the way from the front to the back. It goes up over this front bumper. It's hidden in the panel liner on the boot. It will then go across the back of the boot lid as well, go up the C-pillar, across the roof in the gutter. So it's hidden. Down the A-pillar. Then it'll go down the bonnet seam and then across the front and down the front of the bumper. So not a huge amount of cleanup. Basically the front and rear bumpers and across the boot lid at the back. So using our sponge sander, we're not going mad with pressure. Doesn't need a lot of pressure at all. Let the sander do the work. Now there's all different sanders you could use for this. You could use UMP, whatever brand of sander you use. But I'd recommend these pads. They're forgiving. They're very efficient at sanding away plastic. They're nice and soft, so they form around the edge as well, so they don't change the shape of any part you're sanding. They're very efficient and work really quick. So it doesn't take a lot of sanding at all. So what we'll do first is we'll focus on getting rid of the seam lines. So all over the back end of the bumper. Like so. Just take your time. And then up the back, across the top of the bumper as well, and then there's a seam line right across that boot lid at the back that we need to get rid of as well. Now you can see the marbling in the plastic. That's where the plastics merge when they're being moulded. Don't worry about that. It's only a visible kind of flaw, if you want to call it that. It's not actually a flaw you'll see or feel. But these seam lines are something you definitely take care of. And what I would say is sand them till they're gone, and then sand them a little bit more, because they can sometimes ghost back when you start painting, and it'll just save you another sanding session, another priming session afterwards. So you're better off getting rid of them now. So just sand them away and just sand it a little bit more, but just don't be too aggressive. You don't want to alter the profile of the bumper. That is not what we're trying to do. All we're trying to do is efficiently remove the seam lines. Like I say, it's a good 10 to 20 minutes work. This can take a bit of time, but again, this is where preparation is key. This is what is going to build us up to a fantastic paint job. So the better job we do here, the better the finish we'll have all over. So where it's very prominently visible on the bumpers and the boot lid, we can take care of like this. Anywhere else, I'm just going to run the sander over very quickly. So this seam line will literally travel from the front to the back of the car, but probably 80% of it is hidden in the panel lines on the boot lid, the roof and the bonnet. But you can sometimes feel the little lip with your finger when you run it over. So my advice would be get rid of the visible ones first, and then run your sander over the panel lines where you can see it's gone to get to the front of the car. And that way you're not going to get any sharp edges. We want to get rid of the sharp edges because later down the line, when you're sanding after primer or after paint, you don't burn through the paint by catching a sharp raised edge. Just taking care of the seam line on the back there, and then the same on the front as well. So like I say, good 20 minutes work here probably. Take our time, just working our way through, get rid of them. Now like I say, these videos are focused on specific points, so I normally don't dwell on doing this as much in my build videos, but because this is an important step, that's why I'm sticking with it today, just to see how much work I actually put into de-seaming the bodies. And like I say, all we don't want to do is we don't want to reprofile the part, and we don't want to lose any panel lines either, so just don't go too aggressive. It doesn't need a lot of pressure. The sander is abrasive for a reason. Let the sander do the work. And as you can see, it's starting to come up nice and clean. It's starting to look good. Just as one last side and we're all done. My arm's starting to fall off here a little bit, but we're all good. I think I was doing this on a live stream, so I was just chatting to you guys while I was streaming. But yeah, these 3M pads, good value for money as well. It's a cheap set. They're not going to break the bank at all. Some of the sanding pads are really expensive. Our pads retail for $8.75 for a pack of 5. Some of the more expensive pads, you can't even get one for that price. So good value for money. Some of the grits in there you may not use all the time because they're quite aggressive, but there'll be a point at somewhere where you will use it. Like I say, there we go. That is for the most part all that seam line gone, and now we can get on to cleaning the rest of the body up. So that's the seam lines gone. So that's the actual physical flaws of the kit gone. Tamiya kits are pretty clean. What I would do then is literally inspect every square inch, every recess, every edge gap, whatever, and just look for any physical excess pieces of plastic to sand away. And once you're happy everything's clear, we can then key the body. Now I've sped this up because this is quite a lot of time doing this. What we've got here now is the microfine, the very finest sanding pad we sell. Again, cut the square off, and all we're doing now is going all over the body. And what this will do, this will key it, and this will give it a uniform surface now from everywhere we've sanded to anywhere where we didn't. And the idea of doing this is we're introducing thousands of little micro abrasions into the plastic that will help our primer and paint adhere. It will also remove any surface imperfections, so there may be some crud on there, or a bit of imperfection in the floor, in the mold, if it's not as high quality kit as a Tamiya. But it's more so giving a uniform keyed surface ready for our primer. Because as I say, and it is something I'm going to stress a lot in this video, preparation is key. It makes a huge difference to the paint finish, and just this simple step alone will make a big difference. Once we're done, we've got an old toothbrush. We can go around all the panel lines, cleaning out any debris and dust out of them, and obviously any recesses or corners or vents. Again, an important step to do, and I'm just having one final look around to make sure I haven't missed anywhere. and to make sure that we are keyed uniformly all over. So you can see the sander's done a good job of getting rid of the seam lines and keying the body as well. And we're going to just lightly rescribe the body. Now, it's not an essential step, but I think it makes a big difference to the model itself. So if you're not confident in doing this, don't do it, because you'll make more of a mess than good. Some of the scribers aren't the easiest to use. They do have a habit of slipping, and what you'll do is you put a nice big scratch in your nice clean plastic. So if you're not confident on doing this, simply don't do it, because it will make more mess than good. But for me, I think it's quite an important step and a good skill to master as well, across all modelling genres, from aircraft, armour, cars, whatever. These Holley scribers are fantastic. They're by far the easiest and most accurate to use. Sadly, they're no longer made. I know a few companies do still have them in stock in the Far East, so you can find them, grab one. So it's literally Holley, Holley, I think it is. Was it Y? Let me have a look. Let me pick one up. It is Hollly. There you go. And this one is the .02 that I use. But because it's fingertip, it's very, very precise to use. Now what we're doing is we're just removing a little bit of plastic from the already the already molded in seam lines. And what we're doing is just clearing out any muck that may be in there. We're just deepening them a little bit, so when we put a wash in, that's a bit more depth to it as well. Also, if you've been a bit aggressive with the sanding, it will make the panel line a bit more uniform as well. But like I say, you need to be careful here, because if you slip, it will make a holy mess of the body. So just take your time, and there's a lot to go through all the way around the car. And as you can see, I'm just taking my time. Nice positive scribing action, wiping away the excess at the end of each stroke. Like I say, best advice, if you're not confident in doing it, don't do it. It's just not worth the risk of ruining everything. It is a task that takes a lot of goes to get confidence in doing it, and once you are confident, it's a skill that is well worth having. It really is. But like I say, if you're not confident, just leave it be. The panel lines are deep enough as they are. They will hold a wash just fine. Our primer and paint will not infill the panel lines, so you've still got plenty to do. I just do it a matter of course, and just simply because it looks a little bit better. Now, you may watch a few YouTubers who literally look like they're trying to score through the plastic. They take that much out, very aggressive with the scribing. You don't really need to be that aggressive at all. We're just reprofiling that panel line just a bit, so we're not applying loads of pressure. We're not going over it 23 times, literally going over each one a couple of times, just to reprofile the panel line. So there we go. There's another step done. Just a couple more areas to do. Careful on small bits like this, because this is the one where you're more likely to slip. Now the spoiler just needs a bit of clean up, so we'll cut off the excess sprue as close as we can now with our cutters, and then with a UMP 220 sanding stick, thinny stick, we'll sand away that sprue gate until it's gone, and then we'll hit it with a 400 as well, and that should be that sprue gate gone. And then we'll hit it with the Pro Scale 3M pads too. Now we are going to paint this blue, but literally 90% of it will be carbon, and it's a very tricky spoiler to carbon. I've done it before without a template, and it took like 46 separate pieces of carbon to do. If you're not confident in the carboning, just paint it black. Just follow the instructions. It'll probably need a bit of masking to do. If you want to do the carbon and you want the template, I can email it you, no problem. I've got the template and the instructions for it. Drop me an email on the email address in the video description down below, and I'll email you over the template. You can just print it off full size and use it as a template to cut out the carbon decals. Front scoop as well, all been cleaned up just like that rear one. Take off the sprue points, clean up with our sander, and a quick test fit. Being a Tamiya kit, everything fits spot on. We've got some Tamiya extra thin, and this is where we need to be careful. Now, don't apply a lot of pressure to the part, just hold it and just touch the Tamiya to let the capillary reaction carry it in. Then once you're happy, take your finger off and just move around to glue it everywhere. Now be careful you don't get any glue on your fingers, because if you touch the body like my left hand is doing, you'll leave a lovely big gorilla sized thumbprint right on that bonnet. And that is definitely something we don't want to do. We don't want to be taking 2 steps back of all the hard work we've already done. So just take your time. Now my Tamiya Extra Thin is a mix 50-50 with EMA Plasti-Weld. I do have a video on the channel showing how to do that. It gives me a slightly hotter glue with a bit more working time. It's something I've done for a long time. It's just a habit I've gotten into. Normal Tamiya Extra Thin will work just fine doing this. So if that's what you've got, that's what you've got. If you're using a thicker type glue, just be careful. You don't want to squeeze glue out everywhere and again ruin all your hard work. Now with the body pretty much ready now, we're going to mount it to the Tamiya stand. So these Tamiya stands are absolutely fantastic. I have two. I have one that I generally use for painting, priming and painting, and one for clear coating. This is actually the clear coating one I've got here, just because I didn't want to look as scruffy on camera with my other one. Now, it's spring loaded. Some of the bodies will hold themselves on there great. This one not so much. It's popping and jumping around everywhere. So the best tip I can give is to use some masking tape and just tape inside like so. Go over the edge of the metal clip. There's the other one. You can see there, look at the amount of paint on that. That is 13 years of car building right there. Yes, lots of paint on there. So yeah, get the metal prongs, put some tape over it, and then put a piece of tape underneath each one to secure it. And there we go. Now we've got some Pro Scale Paint pre-paint degreaser and a nice clean piece of cotton bud. We've gone over the toothbrush again to get any dust out of there. What we're going to do now is put some of our degreaser on, and this will remove any last contaminants on the body. So we've got rid of physical contaminants with the sanders and the scriber, and this will now remove any fingerprints, any chip dust, crisp dust, pizza marks, anything what you've been eating or whatever. Even just a natural of our fingers will leave a fingerprint on the body, and it's things like that that can sometimes interfere with paint. So again, we want a nice clean body, so do not touch the body after this, and if you do, wipe it down. But this is an alcohol-based cleaner. Wipe it on, most of it will evaporate away, and then you can wipe off the rest and dry it with a clean piece of the kitchen paper itself. Again, another important step, a step I do every time, because this will help any primer adhere properly, it'll help with the paint, and it'll just give us a nice flawless finish. And once you're done, clean dry piece of the kitchen paper and just dry it all off. Like I say, it is alcohol based, so it will evaporate away. And that's it, and there we go. That's us basically ready for primer now. So we will go to the spray booth and I'll meet you in the next part, which is technically part 2, and we'll get this primed and get it prepped ready for paint. So thanks for watching today. There's our spoiler done as well, and we're going to mount the spoiler with a 3M pad on a tongue depressor. So yeah, thanks for watching today. We're back with part 2 very, very soon. As always, if you want to get access on all these videos, you can become a patron in the link down below. And as always, a huge thanks to all my current patrons whose name's going to flash up at the end of this video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.